they decided to have a meeting. I'm not sure which town it was with, but at 6 o'clock, and they are not prepared to start at 6:30. Would it be possible to start with the senior center first and then switch over to the fire?
Yeah. The only thing is that town of Oregon is part of the senior center stuff. But Mike, what do you think?
I don't know. I mean,
are some of their members going to be on?
I don't see anybody.
Is anybody?
I don't know that any of them are going to be on, honestly.
Oh, they're all going to be there probably.
So Jennifer just called me on my cell phone and.
So she said we should do the senior center.
Well, she's asking if that would be a possibility because they haven't even started their meeting.
But what I'm telling you is that
whichever entity it is that they are planning on meeting with.
They're meeting with Brooklyn.
Brooklyn? Okay.
Yeah.
So apparently their meeting is going long and they haven't even started their meeting yet with them. And she said, I don't know what to do, so.
Well, no comment. I won't make any comment.
Well, Mike, what do you think we should do?
Is that Jennifer Hansen, Peggy?
I'm sorry?
It was that Jennifer Hansen that you
Correct,
were speaking?
Yes.
Okay, she just joined this meeting.
Okay.
She's joining. Yeah, that's what she says here.
Guys all ordered?
Yeah. Okay. So,
I'm like,
hi.
hey, Jennifer.
Hey. Steve here. It's a little discombobulated. We got the town of Rutland.
Hey, Chief. Yeah, I don't know.
Over there.
Well, I mean, here's my thought. I think we have the meeting. We've got a quorum of our board. I don't know.
Mike, Deanna just posted that she and Peter are also in another joint meeting.
Yeah, they're with us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Peter's right here.
Yeah, Rutland.
Oh, I see him now.
Well, you know what? To me, then, I'm not sure because our village board's going to go through this during October. I don't think it makes a lot of sense to go through it and then. I mean, we could sit here for an hour waiting for the other towns to join us. So to me, I didn't mean to be rude, but we've had this date set since July, and so I mean, to me, I would just not have the meeting. I mean, the point was to have a meeting with the towns, and they're not available. So I don't think it makes sense for us to go through our stuff because we're going to do this in October anyway. So that's my opinion. But
Mike? That makes sense. I mean, they need to be here and hear the information.
Yep.
And they'll hear it in October.
Well, our village board is going to hear this. I mean, if the towns want Rachel and the fire chief to go through this with me, I think they should just invite them to their own meetings. Then, in my opinion.
Okay.
Yep.
And Mike, if I may.
Yep.
Again, everybody. I mean, a lot of the stuff here that the fire district has is basically a repeat of the stuff that we talked about in July.
Yep.
And Lisa updated the budget basically with the new numbers for healthcare, but everything else is the same. She's got the new numbers on this sheet here as far as the evaluation of numbers and stuff, all that kind of stuff, the allotments for everybody for 2021. So it's really, nothing's really changed other than that healthcare increase. Everything else is the same, 100% across the board. I'm available 24/7 for any municipality that would love me to join in and go through any of the budget stuff with them. But there's no surprises. Nothing has changed in this end. And I think Lisa can contest to that also.
Correct.
Well, and the other thing is, Mike, that everyone's got the packet.
Yep.
Information.
I mean, to me, I don't think it makes sense for I mean, I don't mean to speak for Kathy and the town of Dunn here, but I mean, we're going to go through this in a couple of weeks during a budget meeting. So it doesn't make sense for us to do it just for ourselves.
Right in there.
They're on Zoom.
And
Dave's sitting in the corner.
Oh, I didn't even.
Yeah.
All right, Mike, should we just?
Looks like Deanna has her hand raised. I don't know if
yeah,
she wanted
Deanna?
to say something.
Dina?
You're muted.
Are you I'm Dina. Okay.
Dina.
She's right here.
Oh, okay.
Here.
Did you have something to say?
No, I don't.
Oh, so I would go back. My original thought is our village board is going to go through this in October. I think if the towns want either, I mean, to speak for Rachel, the fire chief, to come and talk to them about their budgets, they should be invited to their respective meetings. That's my opinion.
Well, Town of Oregon has a quorum standing outside the Brooklyn Fire Station. We could do the meeting if you want, and we got the chair for Rutland was just right here, so they could have a quorum here too. We could just do the meeting outside.
I thought your meeting starts at the same. Don't you have a meeting?
The Brooklyn Fire Commission meeting would start at 5:45, and they're not done with that. We haven't even voted on their budget yet. So,
Sure.
we do have, Town of Oregon does have a quorum here if you guys want to do it.
Rutland has a quorum.
And the town of Rutland has a quorum.
Okay.
So let's do it then. Yep.
So,
Okay. Let's call a meeting order.
All right, let's do it.
just make it fast because our meeting will have to go in. We might have to vote on the Brooklyn budget shortly. So,
okay.
Understand, Fred.
All right, so this is Randy Glish, the chair of the fire EMS. I'm going to call the meeting to order of the joint Oregon area fire EMS. So Dina, are you there? Can we take roll for the commission?
Hi, this is Pete Logren, Randy.
But you're not on the commission, Pete.
Oh, gotta go get
Dina gave me her proxy. I'm proxying her.
All right, here's what I'm going to do. Dina's here. I'm going to take the roll. Dina's here. Jenna?
Here. Here.
Wayne?
Wayne's here.
Wayne Ace. Okay. Jeff?
Here.
Okay. We are here. All right. Let's have roll call for the town of Oregon.
Call the joint Oregon Fire District meeting to order for the town of Oregon. Jennifer, take roll.
Fred Clark.
Here.
Arlen Christensen.
Here.
Steve Rutt.
Here.
All right. Town of
Okay.
Oregon's good.
Okay. Town of Rutland.
Hi, that was very formal. I didn't catch all those words, but all the town of Rutland members are here and present and accounted for.
Very good. How about town of Dunn?
Jeff Hodson.
Okay. Jeff? Ed there? Steve?
Ed was having trouble logging in. I'll try to text him the phone number.
Okay. All right. All right. So let's keep rolling. So we're on number 7, discussion possible action 2021 fire EMS budget.
Randy, we have to do the Village of Oregon.
Village of Oregon.
Oh, I'm sorry, Village of Oregon. I forgot about us. So,
Are you ready?
yeah.
Jacobson.
Yes.
Oh, look at you.
Horton.
Here.
Follig.
Here.
Carpenter. Glish.
Here.
Peterson.
Here.
Stitch.
Here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Excellent. All right. Now we're on to 7. Fire EMS budget. Chief, we turn it over to you.
Sure, Randy. Thank you. Again, for those that were with us back in July, I'll just kind of go through the process that we did thus far. So starting probably back in June and May of early spring, of course, we all know where the COVID situation is, where we are with all that kind of stuff. We started having some good dialogue with the commission. We talked about a lot of different things as far as our capital plans, what we wanted to do and what we wanted the budget to look like in COVID times, because we thought it wasn't going away, and guess what, it's still here. We went through all those things. We cut the capitals back dramatically, basically from close to 500,000 down to around 100,000, that kind of stuff. Then Lisa and I sat down, Lisa and I and Mike had some discussion back in early, probably June. we talked about the organized labor, where our contracts are with those folks, what we wanted to do with our paid on call, paid on premise members. We took an increase there about 50 cents an hour for some of those folks, brought those numbers up accordingly, and moved them forward. And then we moved the healthcare numbers that we had in the state plans all to that meeting in July, at the July commission meeting, which was early July. They have approved the at the commission level to bring it to the joint meeting back in, I think it was like about the 17th or 23rd of July, where we basically had these almost the same numbers, or now a little bit tweaked, that Lisa basically cleaned up the increased healthcare costs and that kind of stuff. But all of that stuff is taken in incorporation with that. We looked at our EMS runs and our EMS revenues and everything that we have. And this is our best estimate for our budget for 2021 and making it work in COVID times. And we moved it forward. And I think we have a pretty good consensus at that time. And that's where we are currently, kind of, Randy, to kind of give everybody the short version.
Yep, very good. Anybody have any questions for the chief? All right, Chief, do you want to say anything? You want to go over goals or anything, or are you done?
Sure, I can go over some of the goals. Some of the goals that we've had, the stuff that we put together, again, in cooperation with our COVID funding and stuff of that nature. Right now, we have a ton of different grants out there with the federal government, some AFG grants, some COVID grants. Of course, everything's tied up in the political world of the government this day and age. You don't know what you're going to get and when, if you're going to get it. Of course, we got some CARES Act funding that we put in. Some folks will tell you that fire and EMS districts are not eligible. Some will tell you differently. Here nor there, we've got different requests in different places where and what that's going to look like all at the end of the day. Not 100% sure. We'll see what we get here in the next probably 45 or 60 days and that kind of stuff. Overall, in general, we are probably about 25 calls or so is what our billing company has showed overall, which is, again, 25 calls, but not tremendously a dollar amount that's going to take the impact there. And then, of course, the racetrack revenue and CPR revenue and the classes and all that kind of stuff down. But in general, just the goals for 2021, which you have in front of you, which is basically page 7C. Again, working with all the different monies and all the different stuff out there, trying to mitigate COVID-19 and the precautions for the long term, all that kind of stuff, trying to do some replacement of some different equipment, that kind of stuff. The ongoing stuff that we use some of the 2% dues money from our inspections and all that kind of stuff for some gear replacement and that kind of stuff. Of course, we talked a little bit about the big ticket item of the old air conditioner on top of the third floor on top of that fire station. That looks like it's going to need to be replaced after about 20 plus years or right about. And then, of course, the auto loads on the ambulances and that kind of stuff currently don't have. Going that direction and continuing to upgrade that kind of stuff, and the new rigs that we bought 3 years ago, mechanical CPR devices, again with COVID and that kind of stuff, just the amount of labor intensive CPR and all that kind of thing, trying to keep the numbers down as far as the exposures on those kind of incidents and how we do that. Then the long-term plans and all that kind of stuff. We have a lot of folks there that are paramedic licensors. And currently we are not licensed as an agency for that, but that's down the road, and we're looking at hopefully doing that by 2022 is the ultimate plan, and making sure that those licensures and all those folks that we have with paramedic licenses continue to work that way. And then to retain our paid on call and paid on premise folks. Currently we are pushing in that neighborhood of 37, probably to 40 people right now. Picked up just a few more, again, people that work for other agencies, some of full-time fire departments, moving to Oregon, want to help out with their community, that kind of stuff. So, which is great for us. Wanted to try to stay somewhat close with the hourly rate, that kind of thing. Currently, I think our max is like about $12 an hour currently, which is probably in the big scheme of things very low end. But overall, trying to increase that hourly rate and keep people around and make them work with our operation. So, those are kind of the high key goals. And again, I know I'm trying to make this fast tonight, but anytime any of the district's members, the Village of Oregon reps, or any of the municipalities of the townships, I'm here 24/7, 365 days a year. Be more than happy to talk fire and EMS each and every day, and come out to your municipalities whenever I need to. And I'm only a phone call away. So again, I really appreciate it. Appreciate the support that we've had. For those, I think the commission probably sees it a lot. We've got a lot of talent inside of our operation, meaning we've got electricians that work for us in some different walks of life. A lot of stuff. We do a lot of internal stuff in trying to retain and fix and upgrade stuff, and try to make these budgets stretch as far as we can. And you know, a lot of our folks will tell you that I try to take $1 and probably make $1.60 out of that dollar, or maybe even more. It's really hard this day and age, but that's what we've been doing, and so far been pretty successful in trying to keep all of our municipal partners with the four entities, with the four municipalities on board, and continuing to move forward. Sometimes we just don't have all the money, but you know, again, calls keep coming in. The growth is there in the village, and some of the townships, that kind of stuff, and continuing to grow. We just got to kind of keep up with it and do what we need to do, protect our citizens each and every day.
All right, Chief, good. And any questions for Chief? Quick. So again, everything that we're talking about tonight is in the packet that was sent to you. So if you didn't have a chance to take a look at it after tonight, take a look at it. Any questions? The Chief is more than happy to answer any questions for you. Same thing with Rachel too. So any questions at this point? And Elise, help me if I don't see a hand or anything. So, all right, I'm not hearing or seeing anything. So there was just a note on the agenda thanking the town of Dunn and Village of Oregon for continuing contribution 2021 for the senior center. And so we'll go to 9, which is adjournment of the town of Dunn.
All right, so I think we have Jeff Hodgson and Ed Mahan. So if you want to move for adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn for the town of Dunn.
Thanks, Jeff.
All in favor, say aye.
Ed might be muted.
He is muted.
All opposed, same sign.
Got it.
There he is.
There we go. Hey, Ed.
Hey, Ed.
Okay. And then next we'll take an adjournment from the Fire EMS District Commission. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I will also move for adjournment for the EMS Fire Commission.
Is that Jeff?
Yes.
Okay. Can I have a second?
Oh, Dina is a second.
All right. Very good. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. Opposed? Okay. We are adjourned. Okay. We are on to the senior center. And Jerry, I'll turn it over to you from here.
Thanks,
and Rachel.
Thanks, Randy. I'll turn this over to Rachel. And Rachel, are you with us?
I am indeed.
Well, then go ahead.
All right. You start out with 10A on your agenda is usage by municipalities and percentage of use and points. And you have those in your packet. You saw 11 months worth of this data when we met in July. So I'm thinking there's not going to be any big surprises here. I'm always willing to take questions. But this is basically a breakdown of whose citizens have been using the senior center in various ways. So those numbers all fill into the formula that Lisa uses to come up with contributions for each municipality under the contract that we all share. I don't know if anybody has any questions on that.
Bollig has a question for you.
Sure.
I saw one of the categories was volunteer hours.
Yes.
How's that working during a pandemic? Are you having trouble getting volunteers?
No, in fact, when we were closed, really closed initially, and many of our senior volunteers were sheltering in place, we had a lot of younger people who really stepped up, including village employees, county employees, who came in and helped us get meals packed and delivered, and it was great. Now we're back mostly to our usual volunteer base, and for the most part, we have policies and procedures in place to keep them safe. So we've done well with our volunteers. We really appreciate them. And in fact, tomorrow we're having a volunteer appreciation event for them.
Very
Not
good.
tomorrow, Friday. Sorry.
Okay. That's fine. Very good. What area has been impacted, if any? If none of them have been, that's fine.
You mean by the what area volunteers?
What area in the senior center has been impacted by the pandemic?
Every one of them. Every area has been impacted. We're not able to bring people into the center to do the kinds of recreational, social, exercise classes that we normally do. We haven't been able to have people come in here to eat meals. So we've taken things out to people. We've increased the number of meals we deliver dramatically. We've moved exercise classes to Zoom. We are starting to use conference calling more for our, we will be conference calling more for entertainment, education, recreation kinds of things. We're just back to having foot care available. Our loan closet's now up and running again. Our adult day program is very different than it was, but it's here and it's going, and people are getting in to take advantage of that, and their caregivers are getting a break while they're here. So we've had to reconfigure everything pretty much, and yet we've been able to keep all of the essentials going.
Thanks, Rachel.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions on that? Then we would move on to support of the senior center by the Council on Aging. The Oregon Area Council on Aging is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that supports the center in many ways, helping offset expenses that would otherwise probably be part of the municipal budget. And there's a memo in your packet about that. They contributed about $16,000 during the last 12 months. And I would just note that their single biggest contribution was a $5,000 contribution that allowed us to purchase 4 new laptop computers for staff and our intern to use. So we really appreciate them and would like to acknowledge that they are making those contributions, because it does keep the center able to function and attractive and comfortable and all those things, and it keeps things off of the municipal budget. So thank you to the Council on Aging. And anybody have any questions about the council? They certainly weren't able to raise the funds in their usual way this year, so that was interesting. A lot of generosity from the community. We have our goals. Our highlights and our goals are attached to the agenda as 10C. There's a lot there, a lot of it having to do with the response to the coronavirus pandemic. We've had some building updates and repairs this year. In July, you all knew about the water heater. We're going to be talking about air conditioning here in a couple minutes. We had some roof leaks that needed to be repaired. We had our adult day program audited by the state, well, by the Bureau of Quality Assurance this year, and came through with no deficits, which was excellent. And our goals for next year, as you can imagine, have a lot to do with figuring out how to keep going in the face of the pandemic. How do we do the things that we've always done in new ways? And we'll figure them out. We've figured out a lot, and we'll continue to figure them out. Any questions about that? Don't want to hold up the town of Oregon and the town of Rutland when they have to get back inside and vote. Next on the agenda.
We're still good. We're listening. We're still good.
Good, good. Thank you. Next on the agenda was the discussion of the replacement of 2 roof-mounted air conditioning units and the insurance claim. We had initially, Scott Staley thought that perhaps our 2 air conditioning units had been struck by lightning when they ceased working in August, and there was a claim made to the village's insurance company. They came out and did quite a lot of investigation into those 2 units, and came to the conclusion that they believe they died of old age. They were 24 years old. I think our Public Works Director, Jeff Rao, looked into lightning strike data that exists for this area for the time period in question and kind of came to the conclusion we didn't have the kind of lightning strikes that locally that would have produced that damage. So there doesn't look like there's going to be insurance coverage to replace those 2 units, and the cost of that is, as I recall, in the neighborhood of $15,093. So in addition to that almost $8,000 water heater this year, it looks like we have some expensive air conditioning units to replace as well. I'm hopeful that we'll be able to pull some of the cost of that out of the 2020 budget, because we had some money budgeted in 2020 for things that didn't happen, people who didn't get hired. But Lisa, the finance gal at the Village, has taught me over the years that you can't ever really guess where you're going to be at the finish line until you get to the finish line, because you don't know what's going to happen in your building until it happens. So we'll see where these air conditioning units end up in the overall scheme of cost. Lisa, would you have anything else to add on that?
No, I don't think so. It's just like you said, we really don't know what's going to happen until we get to the end of the year, but hopefully there's going to be enough saving with the vacancy that we had and maybe some other things that didn't happen. And then also we will be receiving through the CARES Act for some items at the senior center. So hopefully that will offset some unexpected expenses. And then along with the vacancy, hopefully there will be enough surplus in there to cover these air conditioning units.
Yes. Anybody have any questions about those air conditioners? Nope. Hearing nothing, we'll move on to status of the new senior center building. We usually touch on that subject at this meeting each year. And I guess the current thinking is that we are probably looking at a new senior center building no sooner than 2025. And so our current contract that we have with the municipalities runs out at the end of 2021. At some point, we'll be talking about what kind of contract makes sense for the following year or two after that. But just so that our township partners have some sense for what might be down the road, we're thinking it's probably at least 2025 before a new senior center will appear. Any comments on that or questions? Nope. So the last item on the agenda under the senior center for tonight is a look at our 2021 budget and the senior center allocation worksheet. And this is in your packet. And as Glenn said, I too am more than happy to come talk to any board about our budget. Our preliminary budget has an increase of just a very little bit over 4%. That's 4% overall. For each municipality, it may not be exactly 4%, but it's a 4% overall increase in the budget. Our budget is very personnel driven. There's not a lot of, well, there's things like electricity and cleaning the building and personnel make up, the vast majority of our budget. And so we're a little bit at the mercy of things like the 8% increase in health insurance premiums that came along for the next year. In general, there's no significant change in anything within our budget. We've tried to hold it as low as we can and still be realistic about the kinds of expenses we're going to incur. So because the contract with the municipalities allows for up to a 7% increase in the budget each year without having to have it be voted on. This is within that range. So we don't require a vote on this tonight, any kind of an approval. But again, I'd be happy to talk to anybody about what the budget looks like. The preliminary budget suggests that the Village of Oregon's portion will be going up just a bit over $10,000. Town of Oregon about $2,600. Town of Rutland about $2,700. And you can always check with me or with Lisa to see how those numbers are arrived at if you have questions. So that is what I hoped to present in a brief nutshell form tonight. If you've got any general questions or any specific questions right now, I'd be happy to take them. Otherwise.
Hey, it's Luke.
Yes, Luke.
Yeah, it looks like we got one bid on those air conditioners for $15,000. Is there any chance to get a different bid on those, or is that just standard practice?
I'm going to defer that one to Mike and Lisa.
When we did it as the emergency repair, Luke. Just like we did when we had to repair the one in the Village Hall.
Okay.
Good question. That's a good question. Yeah.
Anything else? Okay, hearing nothing, I'll turn this back to Jerry. Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you, Rachel. That was a great report. Does anyone in attendance here have any comments or questions regarding anything that's been covered this evening?
If I could.
Who is this?
Ed Minahan.
Oh, Ed, go ahead.
I would like to thank the fire department, the chief, and the village for their response to my spouse's passing. It is greatly appreciated. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome, Ed. And again, our condolences were very sincere. So, anything else? Hearing nothing, I guess it is time for a motion of adjournment.
Jerry?
Yeah,
Go ahead, Mike.
Town of Oregon, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Yep.
I move to adjourn. I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Town of Oregon's adjourned.
Thank you. How many in Rutland? Is Rutland still there?
Una? Peter?
There, just a minute, please.
It's 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
Oh, hi. Am I being the town of Rutland and agreeing to an adjournment?
Yep.
Yes. The town of Rutland moves and passes seconds to adjourn.
Good.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? No. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we're back to the town of, or to the Village of Oregon, right, Mike?
Jerry, I'll move adjournment.
Oh, okay, you go ahead, Randy, yeah.
I moved.
I'll second it.
And somebody just has to say, okay, anybody in favor of that motion?
Aye.
Yeah, okay. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for being flexible.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
That was interesting.
That's right.